Congressman Dan Crenshaw joins us right now. He does not suffer fools gladly. He speaks his mind. So that's why I'm very happy to have him here. He sits on the House Select Committee on Intelligence, House Energy, and Commerce. And Congressman, knowing you were coming, I wanted to share with you some mailings that are coming out from Matt Gaetz, maybe funding off of this, saying, I need your immediate attention. I was attacked and booed by rhinos for asking you to weigh in and contribute to this fight. I will not be lectured to by Republicans. And on he goes. So, what do you think of that?
I mean, I think it's proof for everybody. Look, I actually get along with Gaetz. He doesn't attack me. I don't attack him. I won't say anything about him personally. But I will tell him to his face, and I'll tell him publicly, I absolutely disagree with his tactics and strategy. I think it makes us weaker. And I'll make that argument over and over again. And the proof is in the pudding. It does make us weaker. Democrats are cheering because of his actions. And what's actually scary about those fundraising emails isn't so much that he's sending them. All of those people are sending them. What's scary is that they might
all
work.
send them out, right?
And
on
so my
different
message
issues, right? So I mean, so there is a sense that
of course
you try
but on
to
this
chase.
issue, I meant on this issue.
No, I understand.
There's others on this issue, right?
It's an ironclad
and what's scary is that
now.
people might actually. Yeah, well, what I was saying is my message to voters is you got to stop falling for this. You got to stop falling for this. This isn't real. They're not winning anything for you. And Gaetz isn't a victim either, right? That's what that email says. And he's not a victim, and he's not winning anything for you. I would tell him this to his face. We have that debate. And that should be the debate, by the way, within the Republican conference. Whose strategy is better if the goal is actually winning conservative wins for you, the voter? I don't think a lot of people have that goal. I think most of us do. I think a lot of people don't. They want to make it seem like they do, and they make it seem like they're fighting for you. But what they're fighting for is your attention. And that's different. You got to be able to tell the difference.
Congressman, no matter who ultimately wins, and besides the more prominent names like Steve Scalise and Jim Jordan, there are maybe upwards of a half a dozen others considering it. We'll get into that if we have time. But I did want to get your take on the notion, again, no matter who becomes the next speaker, they might not be speaker for long, and whoever gets it, they'll be dealing with the same very narrow majority. So more of the same. What do you say?
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be as much drama around the actual speaker as opposed to the conditions under which that speaker will operate under. That's where a serious debate will be. There are a lot of members in the conference who no longer want these rules. We do not want, whoever the speaker is, whether it's Jim Jordan or Steve Scalise, we do not want that speaker to operate with a gun to their head. That delivers an outsized amount of power to a very small group of people who are willing to shoot
a gun
the
to the head meaning, I'm sorry, Congressman, a gun to the head meaning the right to vacate, or that a single member can do that and get the process going, as did Congressman Gaetz. You don't want that.
Correct.
So what would be the
application? Because those will not operate under those conditions.
I understand, sir. But of those 8 or so who are not and we're not keen on Speaker McCarthy, I would imagine every one of them would insist on that provision. How's that going to go?
Yeah, and it's going to be lengthy and dramatic. Like I said, that's where the conversation is going to be. Not so much about who the speaker is. There's going to be a vote, and there's a speaker. Well, there's a speaker candidate chosen. Whether they can get to 218 will likely be dependent on the drama surrounding that rules debate, and where it goes. We will see.
Yeah.
The first step is choosing a speaker candidate. The next step is choosing the rules.
All right. Now, others have feared that this could drag on for quite some time, weeks, maybe months. Do you see that?
It's possible because of what I just said. It's possible because there's going to be such severe disagreement, not so much over the speaker, but over the rules under which that speaker will operate. Because, like I said, if there's a standoff between two people and only one of them is willing to shoot the hostage, that person has more leverage. And here's the thing about who that hostage is. The hostage is not the speaker. The hostage is the conservative agenda. That's what they're actually willing to shoot. That's the problem, and that gives them leverage because there's governing conservatives who are unwilling to completely burn it down. That's the dynamic here that I think people need to understand. I know a lot of voters are like, yes, burn it down. Well, that's easy to say. It's a little, when you're actually there and you actually have responsibility for people's lives, you can't act like that. There is some responsibility that is implicit in the job, and I wish people took it more seriously.
Apparently, the President of the United States is taking seriously what's happening at the border. You've been advising this for some time. Pay attention to what's going on. Maybe build a wall, parts of the wall. It's reversing course and building about 20 miles of wall along the Rio Grande. What do you think of all this?
Yeah, so they just announced they're going to use certain powers to waive certain permitting processes to be able to build like under 20 miles of wall. It's basically nothing. So I'm not going to give Biden a lot of credit here. I think they're desperate for some media attention that would indicate that they're trying to do something about the border. Look, I've long said that border walls, especially in Texas, are not all that effective. They're effective for, I mean, I want them, but they're only effective for people who are trying to get away. That's a very small fraction of the actual illegal crossings. Most are just turning themselves in, knowing full well that they'll get bus tickets and plane tickets to the interior of our country. That's what you have to stop. A wall won't stop that. You need to stop that by actual reforms to asylum law. So here's the problem, by the way. The Biden administration has been waiving laws since they got into place, right? USC 1325, which says it's illegal to cross in between ports of entry. They've been waiving that law. They've been waiving parole laws. They've been illegally paroling immigrants into our country, hundreds of thousands of them, for years now. They actually need to stop waiving laws and follow the laws on the book and reform asylum laws. That's when I'll start cheering that we've actually got some progress on the border. And that's what we're going to be fighting for over the next few weeks, by the way, through the appropriations process and through the Ukraine aid package as well that they're going to try and shove down our throats. I think we need to, if we're going to do anything like that, we need to put border security in that package, and it needs to be meaningful border security.
Are you concerned about taking out that aid for Ukraine?
Look, I want to do both, right? There's a lot of people who don't want to beat Russia. I don't understand how they think. I am in the camp of we need to beat Russia. I'm also in the camp of our priority needs to be on our own border. People ask, well, why can't we do both? That's a good question. It's a false choice to say it was one or the other, but you absolutely can do both, and that's going to be my position moving forward.
Without belaboring that point, and only because I know of your brave service in the United States Navy, you're a Navy SEAL, you were wounded in action, you lost your right eye as a result of an explosive device. I mean, you know something about sacrifice, to put it mildly. And there are many in your party who are saying Ukraine isn't worth it. The threat from Vladimir Putin isn't worth it. So I'd just be curious, that part of you, that guy, what does he think of that?
Yeah, well, it's just wrong. I mean, I've been very public and clear about this. It's not actually about Ukraine. It's about Russia. You have to stop dictators like Vladimir Putin from thinking it's okay to engage in wars of conquest. If you allow that world to happen, you're in a pre-World War II world, and your constituents, our voters, will not thrive in that world because the global economy will be in chaos and there will be a power vacuum, and China will fill that power vacuum. People need to understand the second, third order consequences of this. But again, moving forward, though, our priority and our greatest threat is still our southern border. It's the cartels that operate our southern border. We can do both. And so moving forward, we have to carve out a middle position here where we can get both. That's what has to happen moving forward. And I don't think anybody in my party wants Russia to win more than they want our border to be secure. At least I hope they don't. But we'll see. Let's propose it.
Well, Congressman, I didn't mean to embarrass you on that, but I did want to get your reflection on that. And thank you as well for joining us in your service to this country. Very good seeing you.
No. Thanks, Neil.